My name is His Lordship Alfred Longfellow Crowley. Welcome to the Caps, Locks and Chairs Shots podcast, Season 4.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever, and wherever you may be listening to us, you have your ears locked into the Caps, Locks, and Chair Shots podcast. My name is Everkeen. I'm your host for these festivities. And joining me as only and as always, he is my tag team partner, my arch nemesis, and my very best friend. You know him from all around the internet, but you can only find this wrestling stuff right here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Danny Bananas.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ed, it's oddly satisfying to talk to you again.
Boy, I'm telling you, it's good to be back. The only question is, as we begin our official first episode of Season 4, will this be our only episode of Season 4? Anyway, the last time we got together, it was 2 weeks before WrestleMania, and everybody has already talked about WrestleMania, so we're not going to talk about WrestleMania. Is that all right with you, Danny boy?
That's perfectly fine.
All right, we had a huge show happen last night. For those of you who may be under a rock, that was the AEW's official debut pay-per-view, Double or Nothing. Danny, did you get a chance to watch that show?
I did not get to watch it, but I've watched a lot of stuff on it and read a decent amount about it. So, all in all, it appears that the wrestling business is thriving outside of the WWE.
All right. We're going to start this show how we start every other show, and that is with our one big thing. Dan, you know what my one big thing is. It's Double or Nothing. Oddly enough, it's an independent promotion that we're going to be talking about first. What's your one big thing of this show?
The WWE should be slightly worried.
Okay, you want to expand on that, or you just want to bring that up at the end? We're going to bring it up at the end. Fantastic idea, Dan. Love how you think. All right, let's start with Double or Nothing. Dan, Hangman Adam Page. Why should I be excited about this young man?
Oh, man, because I think Jericho is going to put him over.
Interesting that you went and think Jericho is going to be his first opponent when the AEW finds their way onto network television. Why is that?
Well, it's been announced that the winner of the 22-man Casino Battle Royale, who happened to be
Adam Page,
it gets to face the winner for the AEW World Championship.
Winner of what?
And that happened to be the match between Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega.
So that's what they went with, because the way I understood it, it was Omega and Jericho, that winner got a future shot at the title. And Page, who winning the Casino Battle Royal, got a future shot at the title. I read it as there were two number one contenders for a champion that doesn't exist. So what you're saying is it's going to be Page and Jericho, and they're fighting to be the inaugural AEW champion.
Yes, that was how I understood it, yes.
What about Magnus? Isn't he still the NWA? Don't they still have kind of a thing going on there? Or?
I have no idea what's going on with that. I just know... I don't know what's going on with the NWA aspect of it as far as him and if he's going to jump ship or not. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like the NWA is doing really well, too. So,
is there maybe a working relationship between those two?
Unless I missed something, I didn't see any signs of it on this show, but that it is very possible that they do have one set there.
Okay. Before I start ragging on the AEW, and it's not going to be ragging, it's going to be a legitimate pointing out of something. Let's talk about, can we talk about SoCal Uncensored, Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, the wrestlers that never age? Do they have the best named finisher ever in the best Dave Meltzer ever? Like, that's the name of their finisher. Isn't that just fantastic?
It is.
I mean,
and I love SoCal Uncensored. I'm so happy that all three of those guys stayed together.
I'm telling you that, like, I've always been a Christopher Daniels fan. You know, Curry Man being what it was, I thought he was vastly underutilized in TNA. I'm just glad that he's still getting to do what he does. Speaking of getting to do what they do, are the Young Bucks still the best tag team in the world?
You can make the argument that they're one of the best. I think there's like, it's so tough, right? Because it's like, here, hot take coming from me. I think you can consider the Usos the best tag team in the world.
They're not even the best tag team on SmackDown. Come on.
Can you elaborate?
New Day! Like, really? I mean...
From a wrestling standpoint?
Now, dude, it's professional wrestling. Nothing is strictly from one standpoint. This is from everything. Entertainment value,
saying, man, but I don't
merchandise sales, in-ring work. For my money, it doesn't get better than the New Day. You got three guys that could easily be individual champions. One of them is the champion. And they're as entertaining as anything else. They're over with the kids. They're over with the adults. One of them's got a sex tape. It's the best thing a tag team could have.
You got the New Day, you got the Young Bucks, you got SoCal Uncensored, you got the Lucha Brothers, you got Angelico and Jack Evans who were on this show.
Right.
There's so many good tag teams out there, and it makes me wonder why the WWE cannot make their tag team division better.
Probably because you feed one of those entertaining tag teams to Lars Sullivan on consecutive weeks. Something like that. Maybe. I don't know.
Lars the racist?
What's that?
Lars the racist?
I know nothing dies on the internet, and I know when I run for president in about 2040 that somebody's going to find these shows, and it's going to completely derail my campaign.
Oh, absolutely, it's going to.
But come on, let stuff that was said 10 or more years ago die on Twitter. Nobody needs to go researching what somebody said 5 years, 10 years, 20 years ago. The best part
was like that wasn't even on Twitter. That was on bodybuilding.com.
It just... People change a lot, and their opinions change a lot.
Lars doesn't strike me as the type of man whose opinions change.
Just
saying.
And, I mean, let's just let things go. That's all I'm trying to say. Let's talk about two match of the year candidates, at least thus far. You paying attention, Dan?
I am, yes.
Okay. Which one was a better match? Rhodes versus Rhodes, which I still think should be called a fork in the roads. Because, I mean, that's just, it writes itself. Or Jericho and Omega.
For me, Rhodes versus Rhodes.
I completely agree with you. I love Chris Jericho. Kenny Omega has really grown on me, but just the storyline and the carnage, it was... Like I was reading somewhere, I think it was Bleacher Report or CBS, or somebody said Dusty would be looking down on them and smiling, and that's the perfect way to sum that match up. It was amazing.
I agree 100%.
I don't think there's going to be another match the rest of the year that's going to top that. I mean, watching that match and then looking forward to something like Shane versus Roman Reigns, and no offense to either one of those two, I don't think there's a comparison there.
I don't either. And the thing is I don't think that match actually will get the credit that it deserves, but it's just the pure raw emotion in that match is what made it what it was for me.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to talk more about this later on because I have a very important question I want to ask you. But let's go to Monday Night Raw. We had a lot of stuff break on Monday Night Raw. We had 3 new champions on Monday Night Raw, if you want to call it that. But let's start at the top of the show. Brock Lesnar won the Money in the Bank. How do you feel about that, first and foremost?
Why?
Do you really got to ask? I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
So he can go and squash Kofi and all that?
Or Seth. But think about it. Okay? Brock's around when he wants to be. The thing about Money in the Bank is there's always potential for a championship match. There's always the potential for a cash-in. Nobody knows if Brock's going to be at Raw from one day to the other. there is a suspicion as long as Heyman's there, Brock's somewhere. So what better than to give Paul Heyman 5 minutes of letting him do what he does better than anybody else in the world, and that's talk. And you always have that era of uncertainty, whether Brock's going to be there or not. And then when he shows up, you still get that feel. It's a better way of using Money in the Bank than putting it on somebody like Kane, and then having Kane cash it in the very same night at the very same time, and win a championship, essentially making it meaningless.
I guess my thing is I didn't like the way it was done.
Having him as a surprise entrant and everything else, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It only made sense that way. Like, you can't have Brock Lesnar announced as he's going to be the 8th entrant in Money in the Bank, and then, I mean, everybody would have expected him to win.
I mean, you could have had some type of shenanigans where, like, Brock Lesnar had a singles match against Seth Rollins for a rematch for the belt, and then you hold that AJ line, right? You just don't do that match yet, and then Lesnar loses to some shenanigans again, a la the same way he did at Mania, and Lesnar then ties up Sami Zayn and runs an easy 8-man and wins. If maybe that's the way you do it. I wasn't a fan of the fact that they had like no advertisement for Lesnar being there. Like, for one, I feel like that's a waste of money on Vince's part to not advertise him being there.
Okay, I get what you're saying, and that's fine. But the whole thing about Money in the Bank is a surprise. If nobody knows he's there, what better way to surprise people? If you advertise, hey, Brock Lesnar's going to be here, you know it's an 8-man match and only 7 guys are announced.
No. So let me put it to you this way. Who really thinks Lesnar's going to pull double duty in a night?
Okay, you're way too far down the rabbit hole. For the select few of us that are hardcore, that makes sense. But for the vast amount of people that still watch wrestling, but not like watch wrestling the way we do, this made a hell of a lot more sense. This was more for the middle ground wrestling fan.
It also pissed a lot of fans off.
Exactly. That's why, and I know you're going to call me out for being a conspiracy theorist, whatever and whatever. Double or Nothing, very similar to Money in the Bank, came a week after. Fans are pissed that Lesnar is Mr. Money in the Bank. Adam Page is getting over and over every week. Boy, if the WWE fucks up and the AEW does something better, pushes eyes to them, which creates the back and forth. You see where it's synergy. It's synergy between these two companies. Am I wrong? I mean, I know it's way out there, but it kind of makes sense, right?
Sort of.
Let's move on.
I see what you're saying.
I brought up Lars Sullivan earlier. They're doing this wrong, right?
I hate it. I hate it. I was really happy. So, I know we said we weren't going to talk about it, but I was really happy with Mania.
Well, you were there, right?
I did not attend.
Oh.
I was injured. Did not go.
What, first time in 3-4 years?
3 years, yeah.
Okay, go on. Continue.
So, I like Mania. I have hated everything they've done since Mania.
Okay, I feel you. I mean, I don't know. Mania was such a high point, though.
It was, and they did everything right, and I was like, okay, maybe they actually really are going to, quote-unquote, listen to the fans.
I mean, yeah, kind of, but
and now
I don't think it's been all that bad.
Here's the, I don't know. I guess it's more so just like Lars Sullivan, for example. Like, he's not. I don't think he's that good in the ring. He can go to the top rope and can do a diving headbutt. He's going to get this huge push. When you have a guy that is over, can talk on the mic, and the fans love him, Braun Strowman, and he's never carried a major title.
There's more fun in the chase of a babyface than there is a babyface being a champion.
Agreed. But there's been this chase for what, 2.5 years now?
But think about it.
Roman Reigns gets another world title shot before Braun Strowman.
Absolutely he will. But think about it. What a better way to build it's a genius way to build the story. You have this monster that is now an underdog because he's never done this before. He's got the Kofi Kingston 5, 6, 7, 8 years without a belt. He's Andre the Giant.
This is my issue with that statement, right? Is I don't think normal fans look at him as an underdog
because of his size. You're right, but this is exactly what they did with Andre. Huge behemoth guy, nobody can beat. He's fantastic. He's big. He's massive. Everybody loves him. Everybody loves Andre. But he never got the world title shot. Everything in wrestling repeats itself. Braun Strowman is a more hardcore version of Andre the Giant. Tell me I'm wrong. You can't.
No, you're not. You're not fully wrong. It's just I don't know. I don't know. There's just a lot and after watching a lot of stuff after last night, the WWE should be worried.
I disagree, and we're going to talk later about it. But we talked about how Lars Sullivan is being arguably improperly used. Is Cesaro finally being used correctly after 10 years in the WWE?
I'm not holding my breath on that.
I mean, look at the stuff that he's done. Or look at the stuff that he's doing. The matches he's having. He's no longer shackled under the what's the word I'm looking for here? The blanket that is Sheamus. He's finally getting a chance to flex those superhuman muscles he has, and he's not just a one-trick pony with a spin. He's actually showing off how great he is and everything that he's doing, and it's fantastic. Cesaro is finally getting to be the Swiss what cyborg or Superman or whatever they called him. I mean, he's finally getting to show Claudio Castiglione and what he was on the indie scene that brought him into the WWE. You know, he's no longer saddled with the likes of Jack Swagger, although I loved him as Jack Swagger. He's no longer shackled with Sheamus. He doesn't have Paul Heyman, who he had for 2 or 3 weeks talking for him. He gets to be himself and gets to show why he is one of the greatest in the world at what he does, and I love it. I can't wait for more of him. Maybe this is his push. I don't know. What do you think?
It would be nice. It would be nice if it was his push, but
lay off the cigarettes, Dan. Anyway.
But it's also hard to believe it because we thought he was getting his push so many times before.
Yeah, I mean, and I can't believe I'm going to admit this. Anna was playing Dr. Phil on the way home from the newspaper earlier today, and the best prediction of future behavior is what happened in the past. And we've thought we've seen this before, and we've been screwed over before. It's like how I feel about the AEW. It's tepid optimism, where I believe something good's coming, but I'm not going to put all my eggs in that basket.
And that's understandable.
Speaking of putting all their eggs in a basket, we come to Roman Reigns and Shane McMahon. This is god-awful. I love Shane, I love Roman, I even love The Miz. But come on, guys. Shane's completely done with The Miz, except he's not done with The Miz. Roman Reigns and Shane both need something to do, so they're going to fight each other, which is because Shane wants to get revenge for a punch that happened months ago, because that makes sense, because I guess a McMahon never forgets. Why? Is this just something to do?
Why is Shane becoming such a prominent on-screen character again?
Because he's a McMahon in his is he 50 yet? 40s?
Gotta be close to it at least.
Didn't Vince, around that time, start getting into the storylines pretty heavy?
49.
He's
49.
The most accurate prediction of future behavior is what happened in the past.
Yeah, I mean...
Shane is becoming his dad.
Now, in the opposite direction, I don't mind Roman being in this storyline with Shane because it keeps Roman out of the title picture, and it's giving them time to actually maybe get the fans behind him a little bit more
True.
and make him the babyface that they want him to be.
Roman Reigns is never fully out of any title picture, ever. He will always be on the periphery.
That is correct. He's never fully out of the title picture. If Seth Rollins were to go down today, they can immediately put him in there, and we would know why. But what I'm saying is with the way things are going right now, they don't need Roman in the world title picture.
They don't need Brock in the world title picture. They don't need AJ in the world title picture. Really, I mean...
Well, you gotta have some of those big guys in the world title picture. And Brock's... I agree with you 100% on Brock. There's no reason for Brock to... In my opinion, there's no reason for Brock to hold that game.
No. I didn't say there's no reason. I just said there's no need.
Okay, that was...
They have a lot of these upper mid-card guys. Cesaro, Elias, for as much as you're going to give me crap for it. Lars Sullivan, that they've put time into that can step into that scene to give new faces instead of seeing Brock, instead of seeing AJ, instead of seeing Daniel Bryan, instead of seeing Roman Reigns in there, we can get new blood to do it. Like what they did 6 or 7 years ago when Dolph got a title run, when Jack Swagger got a title run, and I'm sure there were many more, but they have these guys that are ready to go. They need to let them go. You know, I mean, it's time. Samoa Joe needs a long world title run. Big E Langston can use it. Andrade. Why build Ali the way you have just to let him crash and burn the way you have?
Oh, Ali will never go anywhere as long as Vince is in charge. You and I both know that. There's only been one small guy that has ever done anything like that. Okay, maybe two.
Keep going. I can think of 3 just off the top of my head.
Give me your 3.
Shawn Michaels.
Not small.
Compared to the guys that were champion before him. Yeah. Counting it. CM Punk. Daniel Bryan. Kofi Kingston.
Yes, Daniel Bryan.
Jeff Hardy. I mean, Dan, that's 5 just off the top of my head without doing any kind of research that have held the big titles.
I think my definition of small is different than yours.
Under 180 pounds?
I'm thinking more along the lines of like Rey Mysterio,
Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, all former world champions that have won cruiserweight titles.
Okay.
Chris Benoit.
Who?
The man that doesn't exist. Sorry, we had to work in a Benoit reference eventually. Let's talk about another guy who's I have always felt was way underutilized and is probably one of the best things in wrestling today. And that is the Firefly Funhouse host, Bray Wyatt. How do you feel about this stuff?
Christ, it's creepy.
It's so good though, right? Like
I'm loving it.
It's like skin crawling, like what the hell am I watching? But when it's done, you're like, that was genius, right? I mean, I love this. Like, and I'm not a scary guy. I'm not really a creepy guy. I mean, when he did that ring thing with Randy Orton where they put the projection on the mat at WrestleMania.
God, I was there live for that. That was so stupid.
That was terrible, but this makes up for it. Like, what did they call that match? The Haunted Dream House, something like that? Whatever. That was terrible, but this makes up for it. Like, this is brilliant. I love it. Speaking of brilliance, or lack thereof, do you remember when this show first started, Daniel? Way back a couple of years ago. When this show first started, and I said they should bring back the Hardcore Championship. Because the 24/7 rule is way underrated. I don't know if Vince McMahon listens to our show. I'd like to think he does. I'd like to think that maybe one of our shows made it up the chain and found its way to Stamford, Connecticut and into his ear holes. Maybe he took my idea. Maybe he listens to us, Dan. Did you ever think about that? Maybe he listens to all of our fantasy booking, and we're going to be writers in 5 years at the Dub. And we're going to sit there and we're going to work directly for Vince McMahon.
You got a better shot than I do with the way you book.
I'm just saying. It's back. The 24/7 championship is in effect. And our first champion was crowned on Monday night by simply grabbing the title first. It was like a King of the Mountain match, except it mattered. And that first champion was none other than the ring-sliding man himself, Titus O'Neil. My question to you, Daniel, is this. Is him being the first ever 24/7 champion a reward for all the charity work he's done? Dan? Hello, Daniel.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, him losing to Bobby Roode after 45 seconds, it's a terrible thing, in my opinion, as Dan goes off and tries not to die, leaving me hanging here. For those of you that don't know, Titus O'Neil got the 24/7 championship on Monday Night Raw from Mick Foley because he threw Drake Maverick out of the way and picked up the belt. He was promptly rolled up and pinned by none other than Robert Roode, who was then attacked, and the championship was taken from him by everybody's favorite comedic crazy man, R-Truth, who is now, at least as far as we know, for the better part of a week, the 24/7 champion.
I just checked. He is still the 24/7 champion.
Thank you, Wikipedia. All right. R-Truth is still the champion. The longest reigning 24/7 champion in the world. So, Daniel, what do you think of the belt? Is it a good idea? Should we care?
Let me give you some facts about this belt. The youngest champion to ever hold it is 42 years old.
Titus?
Robert Roode.
No. Okay. Keep going. Continue.
Current champion is the oldest champion to ever hold this belt. In R-Truth.
How old is R-Truth?
He is 47.
Wow, not a lot of age gap there. I'm really shocked for a title that has such lineage and history. But please continue.
You know what else this belt kind of sounds like?
What's that?
Kind of sounds like me with the TV title. Because it can show up on any show. Like I said.
Ooh. So maybe, just maybe, it's a mixture of both. It's the hardcore television title. Can it be? Now, I assume that we can see stuff like, Jack Briscoe pinning somebody in their sleep. And it counts, right? We could see...
yeah, it would have to count.
We could see Hornswoggle pinning somebody while they're in the bathtub. That counts, right? Right? I mean, it should.
Oh, anywhere. 24/7.
I'm just saying, this has the potential to be one of the best comedic things the WWE can do. It can be one of the most serious things the WWE can do. I am just very saddened that Crash Holly will never hold this belt. And honestly, the 24/7 name, it is what it is. It should be called the Crash Holly Memorial Title. I think that would be that's better than 24/7. All right. Last thing on Monday Night Raw. Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio. Is this the best feud in the WWE?
The most confusing.
Explain.
Samoa Joe squash match. Samoa Joe squash match. Rey Mysterio squash match. Rey Mysterio squash match.
You know what this reminds me of? And maybe it's just because the Dominic element's there. I am so waiting for Samoa Joe to come out in an Eddie Guerrero shirt, the Hoosier Poppy. Tell me that wouldn't get a pop the size of Texas in whatever show he shows up wearing it.
I don't think they would have the balls to do that. But
I mean, it's the exact same storyline. It's just there's no paternity angle, and Dominic's a lot older. Talking about the example he's going to set if he doesn't give him a return match. I mean, it's playing on Ray being a dad. Will Samoa Joe mention that Eddie Guerrero is actually Dominic's father, in kayfabe-wise at least? Is this something we can look forward to? This has the potential to be really cringeworthy really quick, and I am excited for it. But back to the original question, Daniel. Is it the best feud in the WWE? Cough once for yes, twice for no. Fair enough. All right. As Dan tries not...
I just want to apologize to everybody, too. I did not sound like this until we started recording. I was not coughing at all until we started recording.
It's kind of making me cough, too. All right. We're going to move on to SmackDown. Dan, do you have anything you want to... Final parting shots on Raw without dying?
No final parting shots. I think I said what I had to say.
Fair enough. Let's move on to the Blue Brand. We got Big E back, Danny. You excited for this? The imposter's gone from the New Day. We now have Big E.
I can't wait to see Big E versus Big O.
Oh, yeah. My question to you is this, though. Now that Big E is back, now that he's traveling back on the road, have we lost the most entertaining Twitter account the WWE has? Additionally, will we eventually see a storyline where Big E and Becky's mom have a thing?
Jesus Christ.
Yep, that's it. I've killed Dan. For those of you that don't know, you need to go to Big E Langston's Twitter account. Search Florida Man. I can't remember what his handle is, but just search the way that he has shamelessly hit on Mama Lynch. It started with a tweet from Lacey Evans and Becky back and forth. Then Big E just came in and started hitting on the woman, and I've personally used 2 of the pickup lines on Anna, and it has not worked at all. So, yeah. You're happy to see him back, though?
Absolutely.
Speaking of moms, saw Dan's just walk by. Anyway, let's talk about something, and he shuts his camera off. Let's talk about something else that has a lot of huge potential. And that is Mustafa Ali and Andrade, or just Ali and Andrade. They've had some barn burner matches the last couple of weeks. Dan, are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still here.
You just shut your camera off, right?
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure. Okay. I have an idea on this, and this could be more of my bookings, so Vince, if you're listening, tune in. Andrade and Ali. Good matches, right? Danny?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. At the Superstar Showdown in Jeddah or wherever they're going to be in the Middle East. On Ali versus Andrade in a winner gets their name back match. What do you think?
Oh my god, dude. I'm gonna...
And I've killed Dan once more. All right. I mean, it's good. Yeah, he's giving me the thumbs up as he's trying not to cough up a lung. This could be, this is literally a pay-per-view match that could steal any show they're on. Especially one that won't have the likes of, any of the females on it, obviously. And we're probably going to get fed another Brock and Seth match. We're probably going to get Roman and Shane at wherever they're going to be in the Middle East at 2 a.m. on Saturday or Sunday or whatever.
Let me ask you a question. And it's part of the reason why I'm pissed that Brock won Money in the Bank.
Okay. Can you do it without coughing?
I'm going to try.
Speak.
Brock versus Seth. Do you have a clear, definitive thought in your head on who wins?
The bathroom.
So no, you don't. You don't definitively think Brock wins, and you don't definitively think Seth wins.
Do you remember when CM Punk was at his highest? The day that his contract was going to be over, and they had that pay-per-view in Chicago where he had the match against John Cena, and he was going to take the WWE Championship and go home. And there were signs in the crowd that said, if Cena wins, we riot. If Brock wins, the fans, whether it be online, probably not in person, but online, are going to riot. They are going to go
Seth?
absolutely ballistic if Brock wins.
Against Seth?
Yes.
Okay. But do you think it's more believable that Seth Rollins beats Brock?
I think he does, but I think it sets up something with Brock. and whoever
So-
costs Brock the match.
Bro, next question. If Brock faces Kofi, in my mind, it's the definitive Brock wins.
Absolutely.
Which is not. That's why it pisses me off that Brock has a suitcase.
I mean,
But if you pick Kofi, you know Kofi's losing. Unless Kofi turns heel and the New Day get involved.
I think that is... He doesn't even have to turn heel. I mean, think about it. You could have Paul Heyman come out if he does, in fact, choose Kofi. You could have Paul Heyman come out and be like, you don't stand a chance. There's nothing you can do. Just verbally run down Kofi, you know, hey, you had a good run for the last 15 years. Your 15 minutes of fame is good. Congratulations. He claps. Brock comes out. Whatever. Before that pay-per-view, you have the New Day relentlessly attack Brock to the point where both of them have to be arrested and taken out of the arena. Brock comes down to the ring limping and then shows off that he's Superman. And once again, Kofi standing in the corner and mounts a spirited charge, but still can't get Brock down. Brock beats the hell out of Kofi, and he's standing and he's laughing, and you know he's placating to the crowd and everything else. And him and Heyman are high-fiving. He grabs the belt and poses with it, and then throws it down, walks out, leaves. Choice A. Choice B. He's too cocky, and Kofi rolls him up. Kofi gets the victory. Brock gets so pissed, he leaves. Option 3, Brock dismantles Kofi, wins the belt. Next night on whatever show, the entire locker room goes straight to Vince, to Shane, to Triple H, to whoever. Riots, threatens to walk out. You remember? Do you remember when Christian led the locker room in a vote of no confidence when Triple H tried to take over after John Laurinaitis? This 8-9 years ago now? Something similar to that. You know, Lesnar and Heyman say, well, you don't need anybody else. We're the whole show. And then Triple H goes, yeah, well, we still kind of need people. And Lesnar, you know, man, I don't care. I've made my money. Throws him the belt, walks off. I don't think we've quite seen the last of Brock Lesnar, but I think he's about due for another extended vacation somewhere until around SummerSlam, if not later, to set up another WrestleMania thing. If he does win, he doesn't have the belt for long. I'd say it's 60-40 he wins. I don't think it's as definitive as what you say it is, but I think if done properly and he picks Kofi, it could lead to a very intriguing, albeit already done, storyline.
Here's the other thing, too. You have to, at least I have to imagine that he's going to pick Seth because they've been building this Universal Championship up like it's the most important champion, the most highly coveted championship in the whole company.
I still no. I mean, yeah, that's
that's a true statement. That is what they've been doing.
Yeah, exactly. But if they were gonna have this Universal Championship to begin with, why didn't they just keep the world's title around? The big gold belt, they still own it. It has a lineage. It's recognizable. Why have a red belt when you could have a belt that has its lineage traced back to George Hackenschmidt and Frank Gotch all the way back in 1908, and you can have this on your television show and still have a link to wrestling's history, the wrestling's past. Ric Flair, Harley Race, Ricky Steamboat, Hulk Hogan, everybody, Sting, that has held this belt can still be reminded and revived every time you see the belt on television. But no! We're going to cancel it so we can have our nice logo be set on a red piece of leather that we're going to do the exact same thing with that everybody has done for the last 100 years with the big gold belt. It's the Johnny Cochran defense. It's the Chewbacca defense. It does not make sense. Yeah, that's like a season 2 South Park reference, Dan.
So, Chicago on the same page on that. But speaking of former champions, did you hear about our good old friend Bret Hart?
Did something what?
Did you hear about Bret Hart?
What happened to Bret Hart?
Guess who unveiled the AEW?
Yes. I don't know why. I don't know why. Does he have some sort of significance to the AEW? Is he? Why?
That's what I was wondering too. I was hoping you could answer that question.
I mean, I get, he's a big important.
Was it just another way for him to tell Vince to go fuck himself?
I thought they were kind of past that though. Like I thought they were done with that stuff.
I don't know. I thought they were too, but
I mean, it just
after that, I feel like maybe he's not past it.
Or maybe this is more that synergy I talked about. WWE Hall of Famer introducing their world championship. See what I'm saying? The only thing that could have been better would have been Bret Hart coming out and holding the belt, and then Shawn Michaels come out and attack him from behind and cut the exact same promo. That's the only way they could have stuck it to Vince McMahon any better, by using Hart. You see what I'm saying? Referencing the screw job. I thought
I got it.
But I mean, it's name recognition. Who else is more synonymous with getting screwed over by Vince McMahon? Cody Rhodes can claim he got it, although he didn't get it near as bad as what he could have. But let's bring out Bret Hart. Let's trot out Bret Hart because reasons. So, I don't know. Anyway, let's go back to SmackDown. We have the return of one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, who had one of the greatest, and still may, entrance themes of all time, Dolph Ziggler. He looks to be back. Do you remember he had the Intercontinental Championship? Because I kind of forgot. Do you remember him having it?
Didn't he lay it down in the middle of the ring and quit?
That's what I thought too. But I mean, maybe we're just dating ourselves and showing we haven't really paid attention to wrestling here recently. But he's still the Intercontinental Champion.
Wait, what? He's the current Intercontinental Champion?
Let's double check the facts real quick. But either way, he's.
Hold on. I thought Finn Balor was the Intercontinental Champion.
Well, in the process of preparing for this, he is. They must have just had a bad picture on the recap I saw. To be honest, I'm totally fried and can't really remember much stuff. But yeah, anyway. Oh my god. To fact check, I went to Wikipedia, and R-Truth has held the 24/7 championship for 6 days.
Longest reigning champion.
Oh my gosh, that's still... I don't know if this was meant to be comedic, but I'm getting way too many laughs out of this. Let's see. Yeah, he defeated Bobby Lashley. Where the hell has Finn Balor? Anyway. Dolph Ziggler's back, it seems like, and it seems like he's going to face Kofi Kingston at Superstar Showdown, which means Brock's probably already chosen Seth Rollins. So, have we seen the return of Dolph Ziggler?
Temporarily.
Okay. All right. I mean, is it a good thing though? It has to be a good thing to see Dolph come back, right?
I don't mind it. I like Dolph. You know that. You know Dolph's one of my favorites.
He is a 6-time Intercontinental Champion, and he has held it for a combined total of 372 days, but only 367 of those days have been recognized by the WWE, which means there was a tape delay in there somewhere. All right. Speaking of good things, Kevin Owens doesn't speak a word. Is that good? I'm kind of digging the way his character is kind of turned into I just don't care anymore kind of thing.
I wish he would have stayed face longer.
I don't think Kevin Owens is a good face, though. Him and Sami Zayn...
I was enjoying it.
But him and Sami Zayn are so much better as being just bad guys you kind of want to root for, but no, you ain't supposed to. They're not quite Stone Cold levels of art, or what do we call it? Dark heroes, or I can't even remember what. It's like a Batman kind of thing, where they're bad guys, but they're really good guys kind of thing. They're better. I mean, they're not quite to Stone Cold's level, but they're better as bad guys. I mean, let's be honest, they are. Right? I mean, they have to be. Let's move on. Are you done with Elias? I'm kind of done with Elias.
For now. Hopefully they give him something to do.
I mean, he has the potential to be great, but he also has the potential. Look at the last few guys that have donned guitars in the ring. Where has that gotten them? I mean, Double J had to create his own company to be a world champion. The Honky Tonk Man is one of the longest reigning Intercontinental champions ever, but he never sniffed a world title. It's time to retire the guitar gimmick. Give me somebody with a pan flute. I want to see somebody come out with a pan flute.
Ed,
I'm just saying.
You gotta rein it in, man. If we're gonna go longer than an hour today, I need you to keep it together at least another 15 minutes.
But think about the whole pan flute thing. He comes out.
Ed.
He's blowing on his pan flute. He takes it into the ring. He can wrestle. That's fine. All of a sudden, he picks up the pan flute, just smacks it over somebody's head. What?
You know all about blowing, don't you?
Anyway, that's all I want to talk about from SmackDown. Do you have anything else you want to add before we go into our huge topic of the show?
No, nothing.
Fair enough. We teased this early, and I want to get to it. I'm going to need you to silence your microphone, Daniel, mainly so you don't cough into it, and hear me out on this, okay? We have the AEW. They're going to TNT. They're going to have a weekly episodic television, correct? Right. Okay. Fair enough. They're going on a Turner network. Whether or not it's head-to-head to the WWE, has there been a time or date announced when that's happening, Dan?
I'm looking now.
Okay. Whether or not they go head-to-head, different bag. They're using older WWE superstars in their main event. Chris Jericho, Cody Rhodes, Goldust. They're doing stuff that's quasi-different than the WWE, but not really.
Beginning in the fall.
So, right around the same time, SmackDown moves to Fox then.
I would assume so. I'm assuming... I actually think that's terrible timing for them, depending on what day they put it on. I don't see... Tuesday nights, okay.
So
Tuesday night Dynamite is what AEW has a trademark.
Okay, come on now. Do you not see the parallel to this?
Monday Night Nitro.
I mean, it's the exact same. And another thing. Who is in charge? Who is the lead booker for the AEW? Who's the guy that makes all of this stuff happen? Cody Rhodes.
There's a group of them, yeah.
But Cody Rhodes, right?
Yeah, I guess you could say he's probably taking the bull by
Think about wrestling history.
Yeah, I know, Dusty. I know.
No, not just Dusty, but guys like Vern Gagne, Hulk Hogan. I mean, the list literally goes on forever of wrestlers who are booking the show and putting themselves in the main event in important spot positions. Granted, Cody is one of the few guys that can handle that. They can shoulder that spotlight, but Vern Gagne could at the time. Hulk Hogan could. Harley Race could. Dusty Rhodes could.
The only thing that I think AEW has differently is I feel like there's going to be way too many checks and balances.
I hope. I pray that that's the case. You know, I don't want to see Cody Rhodes wrestling in a suit because he is the boss. You know, the powers are the power that be. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Anyway, this is like, I don't want them to go down the same path as Monday Nitro, as WCW. I mean, and if you want to keep drawing the comparison, WCW got its start as an NWA property.
So technically,
Hold on.
AEW has a contract with me because I work for AT&T and own AT&T stocks, and AT&T owns TNT.
Okay. Anyway, think about this too. What other major wrestling company started as an NWA property? Went on its own. Got big because of the internet. got a TV show.
W?
Keep going. Took a former WWE Intercontinental Champion, tried to make him a world champion. Went for a small time, which, depending on when Dynamite premieres, could go head-to-head with the WWE. Do you see where I'm going with this, Dan?
Yes. Yes, I do.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Who am I talking about?
You say it.
TNA. The only difference here is I don't think Shad Khan is going to run out of money the way Dixie Carter ran out of money.
No, I don't think Shad Khan's running out of money anytime soon.
I don't think. And even if he does, he could probably sell the Jaguars to somebody in London and make a killing. But you see where I'm going with this? This is a chance for reincarnation. This is a chance for a company to learn from the mistakes that WCW did, to learn from the mistakes that TNA did and is doing, and doing it with a lot of the same people. Chris Jericho, he's been there. Pentagon Jr., Ray Phoenix, they've been there. Cody Rhodes, Goldust, they've been there. SoCal Uncensored, just there. You know, I mean, there is a lot that the AEW can do different than what has been done from their predecessors and learn from the mistakes that the guys like Vince Russo, the guys like Eric Bischoff, Dixie Carter, and the list goes on, Jeff Jarrett, have made. You see what I'm saying? Like, they have the potential to do something great if they don't go down the same path TNA did, which is the same path that WCW did, which is the same path that the AWA did, which is the same path the NWA did, which is the same path that everybody that came before them did. You know what I mean? Like, if they do everything...
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
If they do everything the right way, this has the potential to be something beautiful. And if they don't go up against the WWE, and if by some miracle Cody Rhodes and whoever's in charge over the AEW can work out a deal, I'm not saying a talent sharing deal, I'm not saying it has to be something where, you know, we see John Cena and Cody Rhodes at, you know, triple or nothing in 3 months. But if they can work out a deal where maybe at WrestleMania Cody Rhodes shows up, or maybe at whatever AEW's big pay-per-view, which if they go down, you know, the route of TNA and the NWA, it'll be at the either right beginning or the end of the year, we see somebody like a Roman Reigns or a Seth Rollins or an AJ freaking Styles show up at AEW, maybe just for one night, maybe for a storyline. Maybe it starts at AEW's big pay-per-view and ends at WrestleMania, and there can be some semblance of synergy. I'm not saying that.
Or maybe at WrestleMania, we hear Sierra, Hotel, India, Echo, Lima,
you
Delta.
Spoiled it, you little. Ugh. Yes, we'll get to that here in a second. But still, maybe if some synergy can be worked out, this could be great. You know, like this could be really fantastic. It's got to be a war. Let's not be fake here. It's going to be a war. But maybe they can find a middle ground where it doesn't have to be a war of attrition. It can be a friendly rivalry that can better the sport, better the entertainment factor, make all of us hardcore fans hardcore again. And I don't mean hardcore as in ECW type hardcore. I mean hardcore as in we're going to watch wrestling 3, 4, 5 times a week and love it and not feel like it's a grind. You know what I mean, Dan? Dan, have I lost you? It ain't much of a show without you, buddy.
Oh, my bad. My mic was muted.
I got one more question for you. Okay? For the first time since the year 2000, we have 3 quasi-big wrestling promotions into effect. And the thing that makes this history repeating itself all over again, ECW had a national television deal and lost it, was a fledgling company that used a lot of part-timers, old-timers, and never-weres, will-be's, something like that, and made themselves kind of interesting. Since the AEW has been created, and since they're 2 pay-per-views in now, right? We can assume that first one in Chicago was an AEW without being AEW, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All in is what I was thinking of. Anyway, is it possible that Impact could take that ECW role that ECW had in the Monday Night War and grow and have the potential to be that third brand that's not the minor leagues in a sense of, it's the minor leagues, but basically as a proving ground and a breeding ground for both companies?
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's the question. Are we on the precipice of wrestling greatness again, or are we just playing with ourselves?
I think we could be on the path of wrestling greatness again.
Okay.
Really do.
Is Cody Rhodes making wrestling great again?
He could.
All right. Well, that's...
We're too early in to say.
Yeah, it actually went very quickly. Do you want to talk about Mania? I feel like you want to talk about Mania, and we haven't talked about Mania since it happened.
Honestly, I really don't. We're too far past it. I don't really remember much from it. I just remember it being a good card. My snoozer was Miz versus Shane.
Oh, no way, dude. No, not even close.
Yeah, that was a match I really didn't care about.
That was one of the best matches.
One of my favorite matches was Trips and Batista.
Oh, so that one made me squirm. Like, I know it was fake, but ripping out of the ring, it was just... Ugh. Anyway,
So just to kind of do a recap of Double or Nothing here, I know you don't know some of these guys. Hangman Page won the Battle Royal. Kip Sabian defeated Sammy Guevara. Both of them are going to be really good up-and-coming wrestlers.
I loved that match, by the way. That was really fast, and there were a lot of spots in it. I thought it was a little over the top, but really well done.
Sammy Guevara is somebody I've been talking about occasionally for over a year now.
Yeah.
SoCal Uncensored, which is Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Side, defeated the Strong Hearts, which was Sam T-Hawk and El Lidaman. That was another good match. Any match of SoCal Uncensored is good. Dr. Britt Baker, the one and only Adam Cole Bebe's girl, defeated Nyla Rose, Kylie Ray, and Awesome Kong.
Yeah, she's made her return, and that was done so brilliantly too, because you saw it and you thought Brandy Rhodes was gonna come out and pull a Stephanie McMahon and be like, "Hey, guess who is in this match? It's gonna be me." And then she pulled like what New Day did when they hosted WrestleMania 34,
Yeah.
where it looked like they were gonna come out, and then it was the Hardys, and it was brilliantly done. But it was once again another thing that they did better than the WWE did in recent memory.
All right. And then the next match after that, we had Best Friends, which is Chucky T and Trent Beretta versus Angelico and Jack Evans. Another good match. I believe this one went almost 30 minutes. And this just kind of shows the tag team wrestling is still alive. And there are really good tag teams out there, regardless of how a lot of people feel about tag team wrestling when it comes to the WWE. When you look elsewhere, man, tag team wrestling can be some of the best. You can easily have tag teams close out the shows.
Okay, now, let me stop you there. You said Trent Beretta, right? Yeah. Have you looked at, how familiar are you with this guy?
I know he's former. I know he was in WWE at some point.
And TNA, and PWG,
yeah.
Ring of Honor. Now he's with the AEW. He's done stuff, dude's been everywhere. His passport has a lot of postage stamps on it. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
Keep going.
We have a 6-woman tag match. Man, it's really hard for me to pronounce some of these names.
6 Japanese chicks. It was fast. It was kind of sloppy. It was decent, but I think they could have done better given the space on the card they were in. It was kind of a palate cleanser match, but it made sense.
Next, we have my personal favorite match of the show, Cody versus Dustin Rhodes. And Cody won that match, and that, like I said, in my opinion, was the match of the show.
It's the match of the year. It's literally, if you haven't seen it, I'm sure there's YouTube stuff out there somewhere, but you need to see it. Like, it was fantastic.
Interesting enough, this next match surprised me a little bit. The Young Bucks defeated the Lucha Bros for the AAA World Tag Team Champions. The Young Bucks were already the AAA Tag Team Champions, and I thought they would be going back to the Lucha Bros considering the contract stuff and everything like that, but I guess they still have some contractual obligations.
Well, I mean, I'm not ready to say that the AEW is a major U.S. promotion until they air their first episode on TNT. Until then, they are similar to Impact, as they are just a really super indie. They can't, hey, we just founded this company, so screw our contractual obligations. They still have to do it. So I get it, but I mean, it made sense in a really kind of way. It left the door open that the Lucha Bros are going to get that title eventually when the contract is expired. So I'm okay with that.
And the last match of the show was Chris Jericho defeating Kenny Omega, which sets up the inaugural AEW World Championship match of Adam Hangman Page against Chris Jericho. At the end of this match, though, is when it got even more interesting after a very good pay-per-view.
Tell me more.
There was a gentleman who came down through the crowd almost as kind of like if he was shielding himself from coming down the ramp.
Uh-huh.
He proceeded to jump into the ring, and he had some deeds that he had to give out. They were dirty.
Now, I want to ask you more about this man. Okay. Was he about 5'10", had a very Cincinnatian kind of appeal to him?
Yeah.
Did he seem kind of unhinged?
Some would say so, yes.
Did you get the impression that maybe he has a hot wife who could really talk? Like, her profession is talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we just say his name? I think we've kind of...
John freaking Moxley.
For those of you that don't know who Mr. Moxley is, it's Dean Ambrose. That's good. That's really, really good. I guess the 90-day no-compete clause doesn't exist anymore, does it?
Well, that's where it's interesting, because if you remember, he stayed with them for like almost a full month after his contract was up, because his contract expired after Mania.
It sure did. If you believe in the storyline.
That was part of the stipulation for him to stay around for a little bit longer.
Now, let me postulate this to you. Synergy. Think about it.
I'm going to let you close the show on that note.
Oh, we're not done. We are so not done. Not even by a long shot. But think about it, Dan. Think about it. Everybody still knows him as Dean Ambrose. Let's waive your 90-day compete clause. You do that. You owe us. Or we have the rest of that deal worked out. This is another thing that the big puppet master that has been in charge of professional wrestling for 50 years could be working his strings and playing all of us like the puppets we are. Dan, seriously, why in bloody hell would a professional wrestler who is unhappy with the company, who is not under contract with the company, stick around. It doesn't make sense. Nobody has ever done that in the past. Nobody has ever said, well, I like you guys, so I'm going to put you on a handshake deal. Ask Sid Vicious how well that works. Ask Lex Luger. Ask Kevin Nash, Scott Hall. They all claimed to have handshake agreements where they were going to stick around until the deal was done, and it didn't happen. There's more to this than what we are seeing. There's way more to this than what we are seeing.
Oh, clarification, by the way. The 90-day no-compete clause is if you are released. If the contract expires, there is no 90 days.
I don't believe it. I'm telling you, there's more to this story.
According to your favorite wrestling beat writer.
Uncle Dave said that, huh?
Uncle Dave did say that.
Now, do you subscribe to Uncle Dave's newsletter?
I do not.
I don't either. All right. You went over Double or Nothing. We promised our fans at the end of Season 3 we would go over WrestleMania. So guess what we're going to do, Dan? We're going to end the show with WrestleMania. Okay?
Yeah.
Whether you want to or not. WrestleMania opened up with a 10-minute and 40-second match for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship where Tony Nese gained the belt over Buddy Murphy. Do you remember this match?
No.
Fair enough. Carmella won by last eliminating Sarah Logan in the 17 women WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. 10 minutes, 30 seconds. Were you okay with this?
Sure.
Not very enthused, are you?
No.
First feel-good moment of WrestleMania. Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder defeated the Revival for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship. This is significant for two reasons. One, the reunification of the Edgeheads. And for two, Kurt Hawkins no longer has the longest losing streak in the WWE. I loved it. I'm not going to lie, teared up a little bit. Not just for Kurt Hawkins, but for Zack Ryder, who, by the way, for the second year in a row, has won a WWE Championship at WrestleMania, and then lost it a short time later. So, I love that match.
Also, I think part of that was the fact that they both were from New York.
Yeah, that too. And Edge and Christian both tweeting out after they had won with a backstage photo. It hit you right here in the feels. All right, in a match that shocked absolutely nobody, Braun Strowman wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. It took them 10 minutes and 20 seconds, and he won by eliminating a guy from Saturday Night Live. Were you shocked at this? Did you use this like I did to go to the bathroom before Mania started? Because that's what I did.
I used that to drive home.
Yeah. In the first match of the main card, which lasted a whopping 2 minutes and 30 seconds, Seth Rollins defeated Brock Lesnar for the WWE Red Belt. I refuse to call it the Universal Championship from here on out. The red belt was won by Seth Rollins over Brock Lesnar in 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
I loved it.
I did too. It was done beautifully. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I don't know. There's something that doesn't sit right with me. Speaking of things that don't sit right with me, AJ Styles defeated Randy Orton in 16 minutes and 20 seconds, and I thought this match could have gone an hour. It was that good. It was the best I've seen Randy Orton look in probably 5 years. AJ proved to me that he is still the man in professional wrestling. What did you think about it?
I like that one too.
It's that kind of astute commentary that makes us the best.
Dude, it's so
show
hard
you
for
don't
me to
listen
remember like the match itself. Like I'm trying to go off of just like some muscle memory. Like
Adderall helps, bro.
This was also a really difficult Mania for me because I was literally in the parking. We paid for parking at that one.
Oh, dude.
We were outside the stadium.
Did you at least tailgate?
Did not.
Did you at least tailgate?
Yeah.
Then it was fine.
Just like the ticket prices though, like didn't drop. So
I mean, think about it though. Like you spent how much for parking?
$40.
Okay, so you spent $40 instead of spending $400 to sit in the second to last row of a football stadium to be at a Mania you wouldn't have been able to watch anyway.
It's like last year, though, I could have bought tickets. I could have bought tickets for less than what I bought my tickets for in better seating when I was in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So it was just.
But dude, it's New York. It's New York. That's why. That's why everything was so expensive. It's New York. You have that Mania, I don't know, in Arizona, or you have that Mania in Seattle, or Colorado, or Cincinnati, or Cleveland, or Chicago, or St. Louis, or Memphis, or Little Rock, Arkansas. It doesn't matter. That's going to be cheaper. There's going to be less people that are going to want tickets. So, anyway, let's move on. The Usos retained their SmackDown championships against Aleister Black and Ricochet. Where's Aleister Black been the last few weeks? Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura, where have they been the last few weeks? And The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, and where has Cesaro been Sheamus been in the last few weeks? This match went 10 minutes and 10 seconds, and it was alright. I'd rather see Black and Ricochet win, but you can't ever complain when the Usos are the tag team champions. Yay, nay?
Very true. I agree 100%.
In a Falls Count Anywhere match that lasted 15 minutes and 30 seconds, Shane McMahon defeated The Miz and gave us one of the best memes of all time, Mr. Miz throwing the Dukes up. How fantastic.
True.
I mean, that's one of the best moments of Mania, right?
Yes.
The fact that people have tried to independently book him for shows, it proves three things for me. One, independent wrestling will take anybody that's got any kind of name recognition anywhere. Two, Vince McMahon can still create major stars in professional wrestling. And three, anytime a father is involved in any kind of match anywhere, his son never wins. Really, his daughter never wins either. Tori Wilson's dad, may he rest in peace. But still, you know what I'm saying? Like, name one time where a family member has been involved where that person has won the feud or the match. Going back.
I can't name one time.
Dominic, Eddie Guerrero clearly won that feud. John Cena's dad, that didn't work out well for anybody. I'm just saying, it never works when your parents get involved. Buff Bagwell's mom, that didn't go well for anybody. Shelton Benjamin's mom, did that work well for Shelton Benjamin?
No.
How about Tyrus or what was it? The Funkasaurus. What was his name? I mean, people were trying to call his mama. And where is he at now? Probably living with his mama. Let's move on. The Iconic defeated the Boss and Hug Connection, Nia Jackson, Tamina, and Beth Phoenix and Natalya for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. I know you love these two women for more than just their aesthetically pleasing appearance. How did you feel about this?
At the time, I was extremely happy. Looking back on it, I think it was the wrong choice.
Has the WWE messed up by not having Sasha and Bayley, legit have a knockdown, drag out, screw you fest, much the way that Becky and Charlotte had?
Yes and no.
Once again, astute commentary, Daniel. That match, by the way, went 10 minutes and 45 seconds. Okay.
I definitely think that match was longer.
I completely agree with you on that one. Way too short. In probably a moment that's right up there with He Who Mustn't Be Named and Eddie Guerrero, or the boyhood dream finally being realized, or the culmination of the Yes movement. One of the best WrestleMania moments of all time. Kofi freaking Kingston defeated Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. The match lasted 23 minutes and 45 seconds, and I pose this question to you. Match of the year for the WWE, yes or no?
Potentially, yes.
Okay. So far.
So I have a lot. Yeah, so far, yes.
Okay. Move on then.
Let's move on.
Another WWE Championship was decided in less than 3 minutes. Samoa Joe retained his United States Championship over Rey Mysterio. You said you didn't like this. Does it make sense? What did you think about it at the time? Did you care?
I didn't like it at the time. I felt like there was the rumor that Ray was hurt, so I was like, okay, maybe this is why, and they just did the match to do it. But that's where I'm at. Like, I didn't really like it.
Okay, all right. Roman Reigns defeated Drew McIntyre in 10 minutes and 10 seconds. Yay, nay? What'd you think?
That was another match I wasn't really that crazy about.
Triple H defeated Batista in 24 minutes and 45 seconds, where we saw piercings getting pulled out, carnage from Triple H, and Batista once again leaving the WWE on his back. You said you loved it. Still feel it?
Yeah, that was one of my favorite matches. It was one of those nostalgia matches for me.
In Kurt Angle's farewell match, Baron Corbin defeated him in 6 minutes and 5 seconds. My thought at the time, why the hell was Baron Corbin getting this spot? My thought now, why the hell did Baron Corbin get this spot? And where the hell is Baron Corbin? Dan?
I agree with you 100%.
Let's move on. Finn Balor defeated Bobby Lashley with Lio Rush to win the WWE Intercontinental Championship in another match that lasted less than 5 minutes and was for a title. It lasted 4 minutes and 5 seconds. Dan, thoughts? Dan?
I don't have any.
Okay, alright. We're coming up to the end of this. Our main event of the night, Becky Lynch defeated Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair in a winner-take-all triple threat match for the Raw Women's and the SmackDown Women's Championship. What'd you think? 21 minutes, 30 seconds. How'd you feel? Loved it?
Weird finish.
Becky 2 belts.
I
They gave us Becky 2 belts.
I love the match, but the finish was weird.
Okay. Speaking of a weird finish, we're going to call this one over. We're going to put it in the books. Danny, parting shots?
Hey guys, follow me on Twitter at Danny Bananas. Follow Ed on Twitter at Ed at the Journal. No real other stuff from me tonight. Ed, it was good talking to you again. Hopefully we can get another one of these before 2 months down the road.
All right. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me at Ed at the Journal on Twitter. You can also go to journal-leader.com for any news that is news around Noble County and Southeastern Ohio. Soon, you'll be able to find all of my stuff on Amazon. You can just search my name. Everything is still under construction as I am trying to fix a terrible editing job on my part. But, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our show. And we'd like to thank you all for listening. But, as always, if you're not down with the Caps Lock and Chair Shots podcast, we have just 2 words for you. Keep listening.
Keep listening.